Far from Satyapur, in the dense Agni forest, Maharshi Vasishtha took Agnivir in his lap and told Goddess Gauri, "This child is not just an ordinary human, but a great warrior born from the divine fire. He will need rigorous education to understand and control his full power. I will take him to my ashram, where he will take the first step towards his destination." Goddess Gauri was sad to be separated from her son, but she knew that this was no ordinary fate. She bid Agnivir farewell with love. Maharshi Vasishtha took Agnivir to his ashram and began teaching him. There, along with other disciples, he practiced Vedas, scriptures, the art of weapons and meditation. But the most important part of his training was to control his own energy. Agnivir had a unique power. Agni itself was a part of his soul. Whenever he became angry, flames rose around him. The first time he picked up the bow, his fingers burned, but he was not deterred by the pain. Instead, he continued to practice, treating the fire as an extension of his body. Maharshi Vasishtha would teach him, "Strength does not come from mere external power, but from restraint and self-control. A warrior is one who uses his power for dharma, not by succumbing to anger." Agnivir was learning at a much faster rate than his peers. He was both a meditator and a warrior. His sadhana was so rigorous that in a few years he surpassed the other disciples. But his real test was yet to come. Meanwhile, the terror of demons began to rise again in Satyapur. Kalanemi became enraged when he learned that Agnivir was alive and learning under the tutelage of Maharishi Vasishtha. He called his commander Bhairava and said, "Now is the time to destroy Satyapur. If we destroy this kingdom, Agnivir will have no reason to fight against us." Bhairava was a giant demon whose skin was as hard as black stone and whose strength was equal to that of 100 elephants. He was also an elusive warrior, capable of turning his body invisible. Kalanemi ordered him, "Go and burn Satyapur to ashes. Leave no one alive." Bhairava advanced towards Satyapur with his demon army. In the darkness of the night, his army surrounded the city and began to destroy it. The soldiers guarding the palace fought bravely, but the demons were outnumbered. King Chandrasen gathered his army and himself entered the battlefield, but he knew that his victory was difficult. Just then, a soldier rode a horse and fled towards the ashram of Maharishi Vasishtha. Maharshi Vasishtha and his disciples were engrossed in meditation when the soldier arrived. He gasped and said, "Gurudev, Satyapur has been attacked by demons. King Chandrasen and his army are surrounded." On hearing this, Agnivir's blood boiled. His fists automatically tightened, and a soft fire began to wave around him. Maharshi Vasishtha calmed him down and said, "Patience is the greatest weapon in war, not anger. Go, protect Satyapur, but learn to control your power." Agnivir quickly donned his armor. He was ready to try all his sadhana done so far. Moving towards Satyapur, he organized a small army and marched towards the city, taking with him some trained warriors. As soon as he reached Satyapur, he saw that the city was burning. There was destruction and chaos all around. King Chandrasen and his army were putting up a last defense at the palace gate. Just then, Bhairav himself entered the battlefield. The soldiers were terrified to see his monstrous form. "Men, now your end has come," Bhairav roared. But just then, a brilliant light flashed in the sky. A warrior jumped into the battlefield like lightning. It was Agnivir. As soon as he entered, the heat in the atmosphere increased. The ground beneath his feet began to burn. There were flames in his eyes, and his weapon was emitting rays of fire. "Demon, now this war will end," Agnivir roared. Bhairav said laughingly, "A child is challenging me? Let me see how strong he is." Bhairav raised his mace and attacked Agnivir with all his might. But as soon as the attack reached Agnivir, he himself was burnt to ashes. Agnivir immediately retaliated. He raised his palm and a huge fire arrow came out of his hand. He moved straight towards Bhairav. Bhairav tried to stop him, but as soon as the fire arrow hit his body, his black skin started burning. Bhairav screamed, "This is impossible. How can any weapon burn me?" Agnivir replied, "This is not an ordinary fire. This is the fire of Dharma, which has been born to destroy Adharma." After this, Agnivir raised his sword and attacked Bhairav with the final blow. The flames coming out of the sword burnt Bhairav to ashes. As soon as Bhairav was destroyed, the demon army started running away in fear. The people of Satyapur started hailing, Agnivir ki jai! Asterisk asterisk. King Chandrasen himself came forward and hugged Agnivir and said, O brave one, you are the protector of not only Satyapur but the entire earth. From today this kingdom will be indebted to you. But Agnivir knew that this was only a victory in a battle. The real war was yet to come. Kalanemi was yet to be defeated.